Okay, for the first poem, I have to ask what's the connection between railways and knitting? Very little, but I've tried to combine the two in this poem. So here it goes. It's called Tapestry, the Mark of the Beast. The reason I called it that is because it's got three separate verses, each of 6 lines. So it's 666, the mark of the beast. And the beast is the locomotive. The locomotive is a needle pulling the threads of passengers through the eyes of storms, making patterns on the fabric of countryside and of city sanctums disgraced with grime, backstitching at junctions, making loops, tying stations into knots at speed, the whirling wheels like fingers, the carriage is part of an elaborate warp and weft, passing each other on networks, each pattern unique to itself and in its own time. The sun picks out the frantic needle, drop one, the signal gantry speaks, salutes the speeding hands, pulling with their sinew pistons, until some far kingdom is reached, the final rest, in a tapestry that tells posters what to do. Thank you. Thank you. The next one is a nonsense poem, which I quite enjoy doing. It's not the easiest form because you have to be very careful with your lines and the rhyming, even though it means very little at all. It's called Ending Up a Vegetable. Russell Sprout was rather stout, as wide as he was tall. His appearance was hysterical, verging on the spherical, exactly like a ball. As Marmite's not to everyone's taste, while others seem to love it, Russell drew a parallel, with some put off by a rotting smell, while others rose above it. In one thing he was much admired and worthy of a mention. His green credentials were intact, an essential way of life, in fact, and worthy of attention. He never thought to change his name, thinking that his shape was good. While some, it said, looked like their dog, he was a blend of toad and frog, trying to be Robin Hood. Let's take leave of Russell Sprout, a tale as wide as tall. It had its moments magical, but also some more tragical. It's poetry after all. Thank you. Thank you. Now this is about my musical experiences, a very early one, and it's called Early Influences. A young lad in a bungalow asked me if I'd heard of the 12-bar blues. I had not, and told him so. A yes would have meant an offer to join his band. The blues was integral after all. I was familiar with Schubert, Chopin, other great masters, and could follow a fly's movements on the piano. That's the rub, the great chasm of influence. Knowing too much, yet not enough. Time would come, I bided it until my classical stigma was overlooked, as I could turn a fair tune from my head. The rest is history, part of a greater mystery. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I didn't finish that one actually. So can I carry on with that?
Yeah, please do.
Part of the greater mystery. The youth in the bungalow, long gone. The bungalow too. My career behind me, but melodies linger on. That's it. And then I thought have I got time for one more? So
Yeah.
right, this is called Somewhere in the Midlands, this is. Somewhere in the Midlands, life goes on. Records are kept to prove it. Reality TV has a biblical following. Pride seeps into the air, a sense of community. Cars full of policemen maintain a presence. Individuals are stopped, proceed cautiously. Cinemas are doing nicely. New couples are lost on faceless groomed estates. Developers support their own calls, somewhere in the Midlands. Midlands are somewhere in the middle, epicentric, neither looking up nor down to others. A refreshing blandness pervades, a sweet spot somewhere between calmness and stagnant dreams. Fitness lies between a compulsion and nightmare of numbers on charts, threatening or consoling, whole gatherings dedicated to diabetes. Wheelchair friendliness is well served, almost off the scale. All is well off the roundabouts. Behind shrubs, red and yellow signs proclaim a way of life. All is fast food again. Business is picking up without dirty hands somewhere in the Midlands.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ray.